First of all, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you. Thank you so much for joining me here today, but also for just watching the channel, watching the different videos that we put out over the years, especially here in 2021. This hasn't been the year that everybody wanted, but at the same time, it's better than 2020 in a lot of ways, and I'm thankful for all of you. But today I want to talk about this big TV behind me. It is a C1 OLED from LG. This is the 77-inch version. I finally purchased my OLED that I've been wanting for quite some time. Now, I'm just going to take you on a little journey, talk about my journey to this particular television. Back in 2012, I bought my first, what I'll consider to be a home theater television. It was a Panasonic Plasma, the ST50, 55-inch version, and I love that TV. It's a great TV. Still have it. It's down in our bedroom now. And I bought it, and it wasn't the flagship model. It was like the model down from that. The flagship was the VT50 at the time, and it was a good TV, right? And the next year they came out with the VT60, which honestly was probably the pinnacle of the plasma technology. And I had just a little bit of buyer's remorse. I was like, man, if I would have waited just another year, I would have gotten an even better TV, right? But I was still happy with my television. I kept it. And then along comes 4K and HDR and all of those things. And for whatever reason, Panasonic and other manufacturers just couldn't quite get that plasma technology to do 4K. It just didn't work. They couldn't get it to consumer price levels. So the plasma technology died out. But OLED came along, and LG Display has invested a lot in OLED technology. It's supposed to have better blacks than basically everything out there. And it does, but I'll get to that in a minute. And so I was like, man, I kind of want an OLED, it's kind of something I wanted. But I also knew that LCD technology had gotten better. And like I said, we had HDR, so we had more definition in the blacks and greater highlights. With LCD tech, you generally have higher peak brightness than you do with plasma. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to purchase an LCD TV. I'm not going to go plasma. I'm just going to purchase a mid-grade, decent LCD TV and see how good, how much better I like it compared to my plasma. So I purchased in 2018, I purchased the TCL 6 series. Like I said, it wasn't a flagship LCD model. It was middle of the road, good for home theater. And I really, really enjoy that TV. Still have it. It's actually behind the camera. And, so that has been the TV that I've been using since 2018. But a few months after having it, I started thinking, if I could only keep one television, we're moving out of the country or something like that, and I can only take one 55-inch TV with me, which one would I keep? Would I keep the plasma or would I keep the TCL? And honestly, I realized that I would keep the plasma. And that was weird because, the plasma is 1080p SDR, good TV, but not the latest tech, right? Whereas the 6 series is 4K HDR. It's got Dolby Vision, it's got apps built in. It's got all of that stuff, right? So it's got all the bells and whistles, or most of the bells and whistles of today, right? But the reason why I realized I'd keep the Panasonic Plasma was because I really enjoy the blacks. Even after sitting up here and watching a movie, if I go downstairs to our bedroom and watch TV or something like that, I just enjoy that black. I enjoy that picture quality. But I didn't go out right away and buy an OLED, mainly because I was a little afraid that if I bought it, then the next year it would just be so much better, right? So I watched trends over, 2019, 2020, and even, watching the manufacturers kind of present their TVs earlier this year. And I realized that this year was probably a good year to get into it because LG did release their G1 with the Evo panel, slightly larger brightness than the C1 even in previous generations. But after it got into reviewers' hands, most reviewers said that it's not that big of a difference. It is a step up, but not that big of a difference. So mainly with the G1, you'd be getting, a nice wall mountable TV, something that looks really good, more so than overall brightness that's just going to just blow your socks off. So I decided, well, maybe the G1's not for me. But LG Display also announced they were producing an 83-inch version, and that got me excited. One, because I thought, well, maybe the 77-inch will come down in price and the 83 will kind of take that top spot, so that's good. But also because I was thinking, man, I might just go ahead and get the 83. It's going to be expensive, but maybe I will go for that. So I measured out what the 83 would be and the TV size of TV stand I would need for my room, and I realized that I cannot fit an 83 in here with my current setup, because the way I have it set up now is I've got my front left speaker, subwoofer, TV, front right speaker. So I've kind of got my soundstage set up, and going that wide with an 83-inch really wouldn't work with the soundstage that I want to have on the front of my room. So that kind of brought me back to the 77-inch. And so that's kind of how I ended up here. Now, really, I didn't want necessarily an LG OLED. I would have preferred a Panasonic OLED because I know they sell them in the UK and they kind of sell them here. I know Value Electronics in New York was selling sort of their, let's say, really high-end professional Panasonic Plasma, or excuse me, Panasonic OLEDs last year, but they were really expensive. It was like 65-inch for $5 or $6 grand, if I remember correctly. And so I decided I didn't want to spend that kind of money for a 65-inch because I did want a bigger screen, but man, that was going to be a pretty big investment. So I couldn't get my Panasonic Plasma. So it came down to LG or Sony, right? And Sony has their A90J, and a lot of people I think would say that the A90J is a little bit better in terms of the magic that Sony kind of sprinkles into that panel for movies and for film. So that's how I ended up with this, the LG C1 77-inch. And like I said, I'm truly, truly excited. Now, as far as shipping is concerned, this is a big television, so no surprise, you're gonna need help. When it was sent here, the truck that brought it, they actually brought it up to the room, so I didn't have to bring it upstairs, which was really cool. But again, I got out of the box, and the glass itself is not super heavy. The base is pretty heavy, but the glass itself is not super heavy. But again, since it's a 77-inch, you need an extra set of hands just to kind of put it down, put the base on, and then set it back up on a stand. By the way, the stand that I have it sitting on is not the permanent stand. I have it here because the one that I want, I don't have yet. And I don't even have a time for getting it, but eventually you will see a video about me talking, where I talk about what I'm hoping to get anyway. So it's here for now just so I can sit and watch it. As far as the experience is concerned, this is truly a successor to Plasma. It really is. This thing, when it goes black, you know, let's say you're watching a movie and it fades to black, it fades to black. It looks fantastic. I really, really enjoy watching movies on this particular TV. Like I said, this is not this permanent spot, so I do not have it calibrated at this point. I've just got it in filmmaker mode, and I'm watching things in filmmaker mode, and it just looks fantastic. I've only spent, you know, a few days with it. I can't say that I've spent enough time with it to give it a full review because I've still got to get the menu system set up and stuff like that. But I just wanted to watch content, and I just wanted to tell you guys, if you are a Plasma owner and you're like, should I go LCD with HDR like I was, or should I just, you know, hold out and go for the OLED? Go for the OLED, okay? I've done the LCD with HDR, and yes, it looks good, but it's not nearly as good as this. Now, I truly have a #1 TV in my house, along with the Plasma's probably my #2, and that TCL's probably #3, to be honest with you, because it just looks so good with the increased resolution, with the Dolby Vision HDR, with, you know, all of the bells and whistles of modern television. So I'm really, really excited. But I will be doing a full review on this TV, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you find out about that, and that notification bell so you'll know when I do upload that. Also, don't forget to like the videos, join us on Patreon if you can, and again, thank you so much for supporting us all throughout the years, watching the videos, sharing the videos, everything that you've done. Hopefully you guys enjoy your holiday season, and I'll talk to you next time.